A long time ago, it was a man who told me, believe in yourself, do what you want to do, and never give up. And then he smiled to me. A couple of years later, I met him again. By that time, he had his dog with him. He was a policeman, and he looked at me and he said, I don't like what you're doing. I told you to believe in yourself, and I can see that you doesn't do that. And I know more than you think. And I remember I looked at him. My tears started to fall, and yeah, but it doesn't matter any longer, I answered him. And then I kept going on with what I was doing. Many years later, I find out that he has died, and I was very, very sad. It was a man that I really, really liked, and he was one of the safe harbor in my life when I grew up. Today, when I know the truth about my childhood, and also about the way I have lived as a grown-up, as a result of my childhood, I should say, I've come to realize that the only one who can do it is myself. For a long time, I haven't let my voice be heard. I have used AI voices, I have used music, because I got tired of everything. But also, those AI voices have given me the perspective of no feelings in what people say. And I have realized that perspective of no feelings, I have needed it to understand and to heal myself, because this is journey I've been on has needed to heal myself. I've lived for so long time with the neglect, and I've come to see that it never stopped. It kept going and going, and as more that people around me, behind me, kept lying about me, kept finding their own truth about me, I also realized that it was the part of the neglect. And I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to say anything. I have a lot of podcasts out on several channels in Swedish, and I have told myself so many times that I can't do this in English. So therefore I didn't believe in myself. But I look back over the years, and I realized that this beautiful man, the policeman, he was so freaking right. I need to believe in myself. But here comes the thing. The day I started to believe in myself, I also lost everything. And it was also the day I understood that if I ever going to be me, like I want to be, I had to lose everything. And I had to learn a bunch of things. And the last couple of years I have really learned. But it has also breaking my heart over and over again. And the people who have taught me this, I really don't want to see them any longer. But at the same time, I know I have to see them from time to time. In a couple of days from now, I need to go to the hairdresser and shave off the rest of my hair. I am losing my hair today, and it makes me very sad. And to be honest, it's really the first time I can speak about it without starting to cry. And I ask the man up there, who I so much believe in, and I also want to say, you believe what you want to believe. I believe in God, and If you want to believe in something else, it's okay with me. But my belief is in God. And I ask over and over again, why? What have I done so I can lose my hair? And I keep seeing one picture in my head over and over again. Start over. You have to start over from the scratch. You have to go back to the beginning, to what you were dreaming of from the beginning. And you had to go through everything to learn everything you learned. And today, when I look at the result of have built all this system, get your shit together, I understand what I have been through. What I have been through into, I should say. And I also understand that I am not the same woman today as I was yesterday or the day before or a year ago. But mostly I understand that nobody, except 2 persons, really know me. Maybe a third too. And that is my 3 children. But the one who knows me the best is my today almost the oldest daughter I have. I don't speak about my oldest daughter so much, and I'm not going to speak about her now either. But my almost oldest daughter, she is the one who knows me the best. And I can hear her smile, I can hear her laughter, I can hear her, believe in yourself, Mommy. I believe in you. You are everything. Both my girls are today living in hideaways by the authorities, and both of my girls are not doing good. But I didn't do this recording just to tell you that. What I want to say about that is that's the only reason why I go on. A couple of years ago I learned, I don't know what he would call it. I think he was called it 7 Deep Down or something. It's Dean Graziosi. He had a worksheet where you're going to ask yourself the same question for 7 times. And when you come down to the 7 deeps, you're going to understand what it is you're going to and what it is you really believe in. And I've tried to do that exercise for many times, for many years, and I haven't succeeded until about 6 months ago, when I was the sickest. Because if you haven't followed my channel, the Parody of Life, you don't know that I've been sick. I've been very sick. I almost died a couple of months back, and I was going through that exercise, and I just went quiet. I didn't even reach the 5th deep down, because I know the answer. I just know the answer. And I just sat there in my wheelchair in front of the mirror, and I said to myself, wow, ask yourself that question. I said to myself in the mirror, and I did. I asked myself, what is it in it for me? And my tears started pouring. And I said to myself in my head, ask again. And I did ask again. And I took my wheelchair and I drove around my apartment. It's a very small apartment I have. And I looked around. And I just, oh wow, I've lost everything. I've lost completely everything. And I just a couple of days before realized that I have been grown up in neglect and in a narcissistic environment. And I was just looking around and I was saying to myself, there's nothing here for me. There's nothing in this for me. And to be honest, it has never been nothing for me my entire life. And I understood by that time that if it's going to be something in it for me, I need to heal. And I started to write down exactly what I had left, what I didn't have done in my healing journey, or you should call it the healing timeline. And I started to acknowledge that the only reason why I'm alive is my extremely stubbornness and my thinking that I'm going to be there when my children get 18 and the Swedish system is allowing them out. And I kept going for that. And that stubbornness have kept me alive. And I just looked around and I asked again, what's in it for me? And then I started to write. And I wrote, and I wrote. And a couple of weeks after that, I opened my AI. And I started to write to my AI assistant my questions. I started to tell stories about myself. And I have an AI assistant where you can build a project and you can tell the AI what you want to do and how you want to do it, and you can build a back office, you can say. And I started to explain what I wanted. And then I started to tell. And I really did tell stories of my life, things that I never ever said open before. And I get one question over and over again back from my AI assistant. What did you do? And the next time I tell something, what did you do? And I answered those questions all along. And one day, I was in my AI assistant program and I said, if you can remember a while back, I told you the story about this thing, and I also told you what I did. Can you give me the solution I gave you, what I did back then? And in the next answer, I get the solution. And I said to my AI assistant, I answered back, can you please give me a name for this? Oh, but you have already done that, I get back. You call it get your shit together. You have said it so many times. And then I asked my AI assistant to write me a manual of everything I have done, everything I've told and what I do when I get into different situations and things like that. And I get out a manual for, I think it was approximately 35 pages or something. It was a whole ebook. And I started to read. And when I read all of it, I went into my AI assistant again and I said, have I really built this system? And I get the answer, yes. And then I started to work with it. And I also came to the conclusion that I really needed my own system because I needed to heal the last things that I really need to go through. It was a hard journey, it was a hard way, and it was a time to reflect. But now I have get your shit together, and I open my homepage as soon as I'm ready with it. And the timeline for that is my timeline. I said the 26th that I'm gonna open it, but I realized that it's going to be ready when it's going to be ready. That's the way it is.